So without further ado, let's take a look at what I am eating on one meal a day when traveling. Hey beautiful people, how are you? This is Connor, thanks so much for watching. I have been asked many times to show y'all what I am eating when I do eat one meal a day. And this will be a cool video because I am going to do that, but I am also not at home. I'm staying in a hotel tonight, so I'm actually going to show you all the food that I brought with me for one day, which is going to translate to one meal. I'm going to eat this food over the course of 2 hours. And it was an excellent way for me to demonstrate kind of the preparation I put into creating my one meals, because I calculated everything out before I consume it. And I think this is something that's really helped me stick to one meal a day. And in general, I think it's a really helpful way to sort of understand what we're putting into our bodies, is to keep track of it. I do that by using a digital scale. I also use Chronometer. Both things you can learn more about in a video that I put in the description box, where I talk more about both of those tools. But essentially, I'm creating a food meal plan for myself that feels good, that I'm going to be excited about eating, and calculating it all out, putting it all into its proper containers, so when I sit down to eat, I can just focus on the food. I don't have to think like, oh gee, I wonder if I'm eating too many calories, if I'm eating not enough calories, if I don't have as much protein as I was expecting or hoping for, or like, oh man, I ate this level of macro or micronutrients that I wasn't expecting, etc. and so on. To give you a basic overview, I'm eating within the caloric range of 1750 to 2250 calories per day, 6 days a week. One day a week, I eat somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500. So I give myself one day a week to sort of eat in a pretty high range of calories, and the rest of the time I'm kind of playing around with maintaining satiation and also maybe dipping into under calorie range. So dipping into a fasting regimen that goes beyond just a temporal fast, beyond just a time fast, also a caloric restriction fast. So I'm kind of playing around with that 6 days a week. And in this meal, I have a total of about 1750. So I'm on the low end of my range for 6 out of the 7 days a week. I'll also be consuming all this food within 2 to 3 hours. I'm just coming out of a 2-day fast, so I'm allowing myself to have a little bit of a wider eating window. Typically I eat between 1 to 2 hours, 6 days a week, and 1 day a week I allow myself to eat up to 6 hours in a window. So let's take a look at what I'm having. Very first is the Elixir. This is all powder form. You can see that it's not really that much powder. I mean, it's pretty typical amount of powder, maybe a little bit more than what you would get in like a protein shake blend. And this is kind of my protein shake, amino acid, micro and macronutrient blend that has, I think there's 12, maybe 13 ingredients total in here. Again, this I have a dedicated video on. You can check in the description box to see everything that's in here. This has under 300 calories, pretty close to 250 calories. It has a bulk of my primary macro and micronutrients, including a wide range of amino acids. So I'm just going to add water to this. There's actually 1 serving of soy milk powder in here. Typically I would add soy milk to the other powders, but I added the soy milk powder so I can just add water and be all set. So I'm going to add about this much water, shake it up, and this is going to be the first thing that I eat when I break my fast. In no particular order, I'm going to kind of consume this stuff as I see fit. This is actually the steel cut oats. I'll talk about what's inside the steel cut oats bag in a second. But this is steel cut oats. This is 2.5 servings of steel cut oats. I actually made this in the rice cooker just by turning the rice cooker on twice. So just a little side if you want to make steel cut oats easily. It's 1 part steel cut oats, 2 parts water. Turn the rice cooker on, let it go through, turn it on again, and you should be all set. I added about 25 grams of raisins to this and 15 grams of sunflower seeds. That's it. There's no sugar, there's no salt. You could add those things, but for my purposes, I wanted to keep it nice and simple. In the rice cooker, I really dig it because you get that little bit of like crust on the bottom. It's like a little bit burnt, but not burnt. And so it adds like kind of a popcorn flavor to it. It's got a mild natural sweetness to this oat, so it's really enjoyable, and with a little bit of raisin and a little bit of sunflower seeds, it adds a diversity of texture and flavor. I'm probably just going to eat this on its own. I may cut up some of these fuyu persimmons, of which I have 200 grams. That's not that many calories of fruit, but it is a little bit of nice fresh fruit that I get to have, and I really enjoy having a little bit of fresh fruit. Not as much as I used to have when I was eating a more fruit-based diet, of course. So this is just a steel cut oats bag. I'm just recycling this. So in here I have one of my favorite things in the world to eat, a peanut butter sandwich. And recently Brittany and I both have been making bread, and I would really encourage it. This is a really high quality pumpernickel based bread, all organic ingredients, just very, very stellar, that I got at a local co-op. And I've got 50 grams of peanut butter inside of here. That's quite a decent chunk of calories. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just recycling this bag. I love peanut butter and I love bread. 2 things that I was told for a long time were bad for me, which I completely believe is wrong. It's total myth, and that both bread and peanuts, in moderation, like anything else, are exceptional foods. My opinion. But I've got a little bit of hot sauce and a little bit of soy sauce. Typically I have a little bit of soy sauce here and there. Typically I have a higher quality soy sauce. I mean, this one isn't bad, but it has sugar in it. It has salt in it. The one that I normally use is organic soybeans. This is just a packet that I grabbed because I'm traveling, but that's okay. Every once in a while, I'm totally cool with those ingredients. In here, I've got a little rubber container. Most of the time, I like to pack all my ingredients in glass if possible. And this, I mean, it doesn't look super delicious as is, but it will be quite enjoyable once I have it with some of these other things. This is about 130 grams of tofu. Nothing is done to it. It's a medium tofu, non-GMO soybeans, which I think is important. And this is an edamame-based pasta that I boiled up on the side. And I've got a chunk of lemon in there for digestive enzymes and flavor. There's a little bit of salt in here already, but not too much. Primarily for flavor with these guys, I'm going to add this amalgamation. This is some purple kale or red cabbage or purple cabbage, cooked up with a nice big chunk of organic tomato. I've also got some frozen peas that are no longer frozen. I cook this at a very low heat for maybe 15 minutes. That's it. This is a relatively typical meal. I often really enjoy beans. Obviously, I'm having beans in 2 different forms, in the form of pasta and in the form of tofu. I guess also in the form of dehydrated powder, which is the soy milk powder. So that's all a soybean, an edamame bean that I'm having, and I really enjoy tofu and soy in general. I think is a pretty miraculous food. But I also enjoy pinto beans, black beans. I really like lentils, kidney beans, cannelli beans. And I eat those things in moderation because I found that if I eat like a whole can of those, I start to feel the flatulence that many of us experience with beans. I also really enjoy brown rice. White rice I enjoy, but I have it to a slightly lesser extent because I'm looking for more fibrous foods, more intact whole foods as much as possible and makes sense. I really love fruit, so if I can have like a chunk of fruit in there somewhere, that feels really good for me. I have a variation of nuts, seeds, a little bit of oil from time to time, but I definitely don't make that a primary source of calories just because I haven't found that that feels very good for me. I'm not going to break my fast for another few hours, so I'm just gonna put all this stuff away. I will show you my nutrient breakdown on Chronometer. You can see the amount of calories, the protein, the fat ratio, all of that good stuff. If you want to see more videos on what I'm eating, definitely let me know in the comments. If you don't want to comment, you can just press the like button on the little thumbs up there. That'll let me know that this video is something you want to see more of, and I'm happy to do that. So much love to you. Hope you're having an awesome day. Take good and great care. Mwah. See you soon.